So since 2016, I've been deep in the trenches of covering this, elections, covering elections. And as a Black woman, as a product of immigrants, as a journalist, this has felt more than just a job. This has felt personal. Covering the rise, right, of Donald Trump, the fallout, the resistance, and then we had that glimmer of hope. Remember in 2020? It's been a roller coaster. And here we are in 2024, where our first Black vice president, female Black vice president, um, is out soon. And then we have Donald Trump again. It feels like deja vu. And I'll be honest, it also feels like the work I've done is just over the years since 2016 is just not enough. That's really how the elections made me feel this year. Like the work that I've done and other people in the space have done, but I'll speak personally, it hasn't been enough. For the past 5 years, I've been doing this work. And mind you, I've been doing this work for over 10 years in politics, been a journalist for over 15. But for the past 5 years, I've been doing this thing for free, because I believe in the work. And I believe in speaking for people who look like me, people who don't have the voices. I've poured, I feel like I've poured everything. And I've had some losses along the way, but I feel like I've poured everything into this work. And to give voices to people who are voiceless, to hold power accountable, to make sense of chaos and have a good time doing it, right? Sometimes I'll make my jokes so that we can laugh to keep from crying when things are super tough. But yeah, to make sense of the chaos. But watching this election most recently and how it turned out, especially with the loss of Kamala Harris, I ain't gonna lie, even with my criticisms of her, which still stand, because I know y'all like to say all these things online, but even with my criticisms of her, this past loss felt like a gut punch. You know, it did. The next morning I woke up, I felt like that lady, that painting of the blue picture, right? The picture of the woman with the blue background, and she has her head hanging low, just tired, but almost having to continue the work, right? Just know that she has to get up, but just tired, has the one shoe on, the dress draping over the shoulder, just tired. And that's how I felt. And let's be clear, this is not just as a journalist, but as a Black woman who constantly has to prove herself in these spaces, at the table, just constantly. That's just what I felt with this loss. And, she's somebody who broke barriers, right? But watch as we see her be erased so quickly, and we replace that with nonsense that Donald Trump is going to be doing, which we've been doing since 2016. It's almost like he never left because of the constant nonsense and hate and division and racism and how they take power over women's bodies and rights. It's a reminder of how fragile progress can feel. And then there's that other layer, exhaustion. Exhaustion. This isn't just about the headlines. It's almost like what this job feels like it takes from you, or what this job actually takes from you. Covering politics in this country, especially as somebody who looks like me, let's be for real, it is exhausting. Okay. It takes from you physically, emotionally, mentally. It stretches you. The microaggressions, the trolling, the weight of trying to stay objective while your identity is literally under attack, while things that affect you is under attack and being stripped from you, and people are telling you that it's not true. Meanwhile, you've done the research, you know the stuff, so it can be draining. It can be what Marlo said, today has drained me. That's what the elections felt like. That's what the election reminded me of. After the election, I took a step back because I needed to recalibrate. I needed to remember why I do this work in the first place. I needed to pause, I needed to reflect and understand that it's okay to do that. It's okay to breathe. I know you guys have seen me over the years just immediately after my people are being attacked, my people are being affected, whichever administration it has been, but especially under the Trump administration, you guys have seen me just continue on and show up and show up and show up. But I felt burnt out. And it's okay. It's okay to do that. Take a pause and breathe, especially as a Black woman in this space, the 92% that did what they needed to do, but especially as a Black woman in the space after what happened, because it's a reminder of how America views women, particularly Black women who are qualified, and the 6 jobs that we have to do, again, to be noticed or for us to be paid or for us to be valued. I needed to sit my behind down and remember why I do this work. It's okay to feel all the emotions, especially when it comes with covering something as monumental as this recent election. Monumental, but frustrating. Because the truth is, stepping back doesn't mean giving up. Okay? Understand that my stepping back recently didn't mean giving up. I showed up in other spaces, I had conversations, but I let y'all know y'all weren't gonna get a lot from me in that time because I needed to recalibrate. So stepping back does not mean giving up. It means, for me, coming back stronger. It means reminding myself why I fight to tell the stories, why I cover the stories the way that I do. It's a reminder of what I call my purpose in this space, even though it doesn't pay, even when it's 5 people, 500. This is work that I understand I want to do, even when it feels like nobody is listening. As much as I hate having to cover Donald Trump again, I also know that the work that I do, it matters. Even when it feels like it doesn't. Because somewhere out there, somebody is hearing their story reflected in my coverage. So here we go. To my fellow journalists out there, to my Black women in this digital space doing the work, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. The work we do is so important, but so is protecting our mental health, right? Take the breaks you need. Speak truth, but please protect your mental health. Don't lose yourself in the process, because as we've been going over this, and I've been talking about this in other spaces, and the thing that we keep coming back to is we can't pour from an empty cup. You really can't. I don't care what your audience, your comment section is requiring of you. Okay? Do not lose yourself in the process. That's me talking to me. So while I was ready to quit, the next day I was emotional, I was stressed. I don't think I've fully recalibrated, but I understand how I'm going to go about the coverage. And I'm not going to allow myself to cover every BS thing that Donald Trump will try to do just to be the talk of the town. I I won't. We will cover what's important, what's prominent, and we will focus on stories and how they affect Black people, mostly, to be clear. because it's important for us to not get lost in Donald Trump's BS, but to cover what he will be doing that will affect our community and how we can prepare if possible, right? Or just to be aware. So again, I'm here. I think I've done some recalibrating, enough for us to have this conversation. And while 2024 was a wild ride, shouts out to Cat Williams, who called it Mr. Prophet, huh? But um, we've been here before. We've been here before. And just like that, we've made it through, right? Not everybody, let's be clear. Some people did not survive Donald Trump's presidency. And this time around, I worry, but I understand. Let's get through it together. Okay? We'll get through it together. Let's keep going. That's all we can do. We can only do what we can do because we have to. Because we have to. Whatever that looks like, whatever it is that you can do it because you have to. Because I think that we just got to keep going in some way, shape, or form. Now, that is not y'all on the internet flashing y'all blue bracelets in my face or me going to Hobby Lobby looking at Black Christmas ornaments and white folks saying, wow, I was going to get that too. Please leave me alone. But no, seriously, this is not just for us. This is why we do the work. I know it can be frustrating. This is not just for ourselves, but for the people that we represent and for the stories that deserve to be told. So that's where I'm going to be with it. And if you can, please support me in this space because once again, I do this thing pro bono. I need your support, not as a pity, not as none of that. I need your support the same way you support those other shows in this space. So support me here on Cash App, Becca's Voice, because I can get it immediately. And that can help me continue to do the work, buy the necessary equipment, continue to show up more often so that we can tell these stories. I love you. I mean it. And whatever it is that you need to do for you, do it. I'll see you guys on the other side of it. Look out for another episode of Shades of Good News coming soon. Bye, y'all. See you next time. Love you. Mean it.